All right, a good Saturday to you. Thanks for finding us here on YouTube. I'm Fox 26 meteorologist John Dawson. We're at the beginning of hurricane season still. It is Saturday, June the 8th, and we've got a forecast that is still remaining fairly on the quiet side, which no problems, no worries that we're going to complain about having a quiet start to hurricane season, and we're still expecting those forecasted numbers to be very high, and we'll glance at those once again. But overall, no organized activity happening in the Atlantic, the Caribbean, and the Gulf of Mexico. All of that we're very happy about. Now, there is going to be some slight changes to discuss, but before we get to the changes, I do just want to look at these water temperatures once again. And we're thankful for these high pressure ridges that we've had around North America, with some over Mexico. We've had some building in over, not as much, but some over the state of Texas and the Gulf Coast, really to help provide a shield from anything that would try to form. Again, nothing has been forming, but with these water conditions that are so warm, this is the fuel that really feeds the fire that would help build a hurricane into a stronger system, a more organized system. Now, the changes that we're going to be seeing, though, is the fact that we've had a very quiet and downright dry pattern here for the last couple of months for the state of Florida. As a matter of fact, they've got some drought conditions that have built in. But look what the 5-day rain forecast looks like when you start looking through the whole week next week. Accumulation. So again, this will be spread out over some time. There could be some spots in there that it could create some problems. But again, overall, between now and the end of the week on Friday, look at these rainfall totals that we're looking at. So if it's a little bit hard to read there, we're basically looking at this purple shading here being at least 5 inches. And then when you get up to this lighter shading of purple there, that's more like 10 inches. So I'm just going to go ahead and call it 5 to 8 inches of rain, perhaps for parts of Florida. Certainly, we have that water landing out in the Gulf of Mexico. We don't care as much about that. But when it's impacting land, you can certainly see how things are going to start adding up. Inches and inches of rain for the entire state of Florida, even going back over towards the panhandle here, going to easily get maybe 3 to 4 inches of rain in some isolated areas. So this is going to be the change. And this just kind of leads to less stability in general. Whether that means exactly there's going to be tropical storm or tropical formation, probably not necessarily, but it is something to keep a little bit closer a watch on. I will say that overall, the National Hurricane Center is saying that they're not expecting any sort of formation over the next 7 days. But here are those, again, forecasted numbers that we've been seeing. NOAA coming out with theirs at the end of May, 17 to 25 named storms. We could have as many as 13 hurricanes on those expectations, and the major hurricanes are the Cat 3 and stronger, maybe even 4 to 7 of those. You can see what a normal season would look like, 14, 7, and 3. So we could still have all this activity and have less landfalls, but that just, your numbers, your odds don't really play that in favor. So you have to kind of keep an eye and be aware of that. And for the names, again, this is a bit of an unusual. For the last several years, we've been checking off a name or two before we even get to June 1st. We did not do that this year. We'll have plenty of names to choose from as we get into the season. We're transitioning from an El Nino to a La Nina, that global weather pattern that will normally, if you look at the numbers, history shows higher number of storms, even some stronger storms that are in there in the mix. And some of that could even mean a higher likelihood for some landfall at some parts of the United States. So we'll have to see how that unfolds. We'll talk a little bit more about those formation zones tomorrow. But for today, I feel like you're updated. Again, we'll be ready to check off these names as needed, but we're certainly going to enjoy the quiet pattern that we find ourselves in right now.